In Mountain Dew time, altogether this is probably a 7 Mountain Dew job. Yeah, probably a 7 Mountain Dew job if you did start to finish. Yep, Mountain Dew. Yep. All right, so we're going to get started with some portal install. This will be, as I said, a multi-day video, but it'll be one shorter video, as I do have to work and only got so much time a day, and with living life and everything else. But got the old instructions here from SuperATV. I have also watched a YouTube video. They have some good videos, so they're pretty good. But we're going to do one on swapping these out. A lot of it'll be a time lapse, but I think we're going to start with the passenger side rear. So obviously the first thing, jack the RZR up and put it on jack stands, right? Then we'll start taking it apart. We're going to start right here. Pull the cotter pin, pull the nut, pull the caliper, pull the radius arms. You know, we're gonna go through, pull this side apart, probably pull the driver's side apart. Then we'll start going back together with it. I will try to go as far as I can today. Probably won't get the rotors on, because I got to press the studs in. I've got 2 rotors unboxed and the studs laying here. Got my little press over at the Jeep's off top in the way, so we'll have to do that. But I've unboxed a lot of it. It is a lot of parts, a lot of bolts, a lot of miscellaneous stuff. So it can look intimidating. But overall, take your time, read instructions. And it should be all right. Never done one. So just look at my little tabletop here with stuff, a lot of stuff still in bags. We have a bunch of bolts and nuts, big washers, looks like the rotors, nuts on those, some bolts right here along with the nuts that hold the factory axles in. Then you got the rear hubs that the radius rods bolt to, the backing plates, some more brackets and brake brackets and front brake brackets, and then the steering pieces. And obviously I got 2 portals out of a box, 2 more rotors in there. Oh, comes with a multitude of lug studs for different sizes depending on what you got. Over here I actually have the front pieces and the brake lines, the front back plates and brake lines. So took a lot out of the box. Man, they send a lot of stickers too. It's like everything has the big old sheet of stickers, which if you're a sticker fan, you're gonna enjoy it. SuperATV, yeah, send a lot of stickers. So let's get started. Alright, as you can see, one side is apart. It don't take too awful long to disassemble, nowhere near as long as it's going to take to assemble. Don't mind the pouring sweat off of me, though it is where I live, I don't know what, 7 p.m. It is still 95 degrees or something like that here in North Carolina. So we are now going to grab the old instructions. You guys see them anywhere? I forgot where I put them. Holy smokes. Alright. Grab the old instructions here, obviously. We got it took apart. Where are we at here? Removed brake lines. No, we're not removed brake lines. Yeah, no. Now it actually tells to press the studs in way before you even start putting the portal boxes on. But I'm gonna go put the portal boxes on first. That looks like the front, rear. All right, the rear. Okay, let's see here. First things first, we gotta find some old flathead bolts here. The back plate and the aluminum plate that all will go on to the trailing arm. Should be sleeves if the kit contains them. So we will find out. So let me find these bolts right here and those nuts, M10 by 80 millimeter, 4 of them, and nuts for all of them. Those 2 plates we're going to start on the passenger side. So let me grab those parts and let's see if we can't bolt them on there. Did note on here, it does say to torque them to 36 foot-pounds. Something that may be true, may not. I guess we'll find out later on. But without reading all up into the instructions, I come over here, open up a bag that I seen that had these M10 by 80 millimeter long flathead bolts right here. And it appears that this bag that I opened is all for the rear. So, don't know what all was in here. There's no tag on it, but I got what I think might be all the bolts for the rear. Because I got these, 4 more of these little sleeves it was talking about. Some more M10 nuts. These are probably to bolt the porta box to the back plate. So maybe, maybe not. We will find out. But until then, let's see if we can't start bolting it on. Alright, come over here to start grabbing bolts to take over for the portal boxes, and open up this bag right here, PGH HK3, and inside that bag was 2 other bags. One of them HK3F, HK3R. So, I mean, I think R goes on the rear. I don't know. That's the bag we're going to open. We're going to pull some bolts out. We're going to take a porta box over there, and we're going to see if we can't get it. The axle slid through it and get the porta box hanging on there. Alright, well, as I said, it'll be a multi-day deal, but so far on this rear, I have probably spent, I know it's time lapse, but I've probably spent, I'm gonna call it an hour. I'm gonna really call it an hour. Changing the passenger rear to get it to where it's at. So obviously, I don't know why this thing here has so many threads, but it don't grab very many. But it does grab. It is torqued. It has blue Loctite on it. It is torqued to, I think, 110. I know y'all seen the battery impact to move some of these, and it says do not use impact. But just so you know, I did get it run in just to get the slack out of the bolts quicker that way. But I could still wiggle the gearbox before I actually put the torque wrench on them. It says 65 foot-pounds on the bolts in the box. So that's all I put these to, I believe. I think so. Because if I know these are threaded in there, these are through. So really I'm not sure. It did not specify. All it says is tighten completely. So I may have to go watch another YouTube's video, see if that fella at UKG can say what these should be torqued to, just to make sure I ain't screwed it up. Brake brackets on. Radius rods are in. Not too hard to put on. So we will have to do the studs, do the other side. Still got the caliper bracket to swap out on the caliper. You know, gotta swap this thing here. And I also have a brand new set of Polaris brake pads that are out there in the truck. So they're not out here, but I don't need them till I get the rotor put on. Don't need the rotor till I get the studs pressed in. So with that, I'm gonna stop for today, and we'll pick back up tomorrow. All right. Okay. I'm a repeater, and by that I mean I say things multiple times, and I've said it before. May not be great at this, but I forgot the video. But anyway, as you can see, this side here, the rotor is on, the caliper is on, everything is there. The cat collar pin, it is all there. Doing the other side. The other side is to there. So what I didn't do yet for the other side is press the wheel studs in, and then we'll start mounting the other sides. Brake bracket, caliper, new brake pads. So I'm going to press those in, and on this one here it is M12s, all the way on the outer. What is it? M12 1.5s is the wheel studs that I got. What my razor takes. So with that, here we go. Yet again, we're going to do a ooh, look at the rain. But we're going to go ahead and do that and do some time lapse on it. So let's press some studs in. I am sweating. It is humid after that rain stopped. But hey, I know I don't talk much through these videos, or this video, but SuperaATV's instructions are pretty good. Their videos are great. The only thing their videos don't do is how much time it really takes. They got a 20-minute video doing some of them. Still very good video. When I started doing these rears, I spent about, altogether, including video, 1 hour and 15 minutes on the passenger rear. Driver's rear probably took me about 30 minutes. Then the wheel studs and all that on the passenger rear was probably 30 minutes, and so was the driver's side. Couple things to keep in mind. You're getting brand new rotors. Brand new rotors. Don't use brake pads. So I got brand new Polaris brake pads to put on there. The bolt torques, you know, on the portal boxes, they say, I think it's 65 foot-pound, not to exceed. You know, if you want a warranty, yeah. Yep. Oh, it says 60. So if you want a warranty, follow the torque specs. The big nut holding the rotor on, it says minimum 300. So my torque wrench goes to 250. So it clicks, and I push further until the cotter pin lines up, and that's pretty much the best I can do. I don't know what 300 is. I'm sure you can ugga-dugga it if you wanted to, but I chose to do 250 and then the next cotter pin hole. So, but that's the rear is on, other than putting some oil in them, and the drain plug, fill plug. We'll jack it up, put the wheels on it, check the square parallel the wheels, maybe have to adjust the radius rods a little bit to make everything good. But next up is the front, and I have to do a steering rack. Well, need I say it again? Battery died, and I went ahead and chose to just keep going, put the wheels on the rear, get jack stands out from under it, get the front jacked up stands under it, and get the front wheels off. Per the instructions, we're going to see if we can't knock out some stuff pretty quick, even off the camera. But per the instructions, it's kind of funny. It says remove. It says remove knuckles, hubs, brake lines, calipers, axle nuts, and pins, tie rods from knuckles. Then you have to remove the front brake scrapers, which should be 2 little bolts. Yep. And that is everything you remove from the front. So, once again, we're going to remove the tie rod, cotter pin, axle nut, wheel hub, steering knuckle, pull the axle shaft through, support it. I think I've seen where on SuperATV they have you take that shock bolt out. I don't know if you have to. I'm actually going to try not to. I'm actually going to try to just take my little old rubber strap bungee cord here and see if I can't just hold it up onto the upper A arm. Get all that off. Then we'll take and put the steering knuckle on. The steering knuckle. We'll get it, which is this right here. Driver's side, passenger side. We'll get it on. Should be this one up here for the passenger side. We'll get it up on there. Get the ball joints through the holes right here in the back. Pinch bolts in there. This bag of bolts right here is the bag of bolts for the front hardware. We'll get the steering knuckle on there, and then we'll get the portal box in there. Before I get all of it together, I will probably go ahead and pull the steering rack out. Get that out of the way. Get ready to put the other one in. Had a couple air brake also this evening. Some friends stopped by. So, always fun to see them. So we just hung around and chatted for a little bit. And that was it. So now it's 10 p.m. On the fence of going ahead and tearing it apart or not. I think I'm going to go ahead and tear them apart. Maybe. Anyway, I gotta take a shower tonight, go to bed, gotta get up in the morning, come back out here and do some more of this. Got somewhere I have to be tomorrow afternoon, and it'll be all the way through the evening time, so doubt it'll get done tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll see where we pick off in the morning. So, off to the next day. And we have yet another day underway. Today, we're not going to spend much time out here. I only got about an hour before I have to go help do a back to school charity cook. Or help finish it up anyway, for a friend. And got the old air conditioner running in the winter there. Since I ain't got much time, I turned it on this morning before it's a Saturday here, so we turned it on, headed out for breakfast, and come back, spend an hour, then it'll be time to clean up and head that way. So, that being said, yesterday I ended with tearing it down. So I got my little old bungees here to hold my axle shafts up on both sides. Tore it down, all the way down. And then I put the back plate on, and I just loosely done this bracket right here for the steering before I even put the back plate on here. So far, the only hardware I've seen that you had to reuse is the bolts through right here in the knuckles, because I did not find any in the bag. So we got both side backing plates on. We're going to look over the old instructions and see if we can't get the old portal box mounted up on there. Yeah. Yep. See if we can't get the portal box mounted up on there, and we'll go from there. As of right now, I know I'm gonna send a bolt through this hole right here. Put a bolt through this hole right here to help line this bracket up. And we'll do that before tightening these bolts up right here. So that way that'll stay lined up. Because I think once the gearbox goes on, I don't know how well I'll be able to tighten those. It's got a clearance, so I should be able to get a wrench on it. So you know what? That's a better idea. I'll get the box up there so that bolt can go through there and it could actually be where it's supposed to be and snug before I tighten these, because these are slotted and loose. So I got to pull that back. So I'll put the portal box up here before I tighten these up, and I'll get a wrench down in here to hold that while I tighten that up. I think that's what we're going to do now. Is we're going to get the boxes on the front. We'll get that bracket tightened up. And then I know in the previous part of this, you see me pressing wheel studs in. So probably won't show you that again. We'll probably just do that too. These are my other 8 studs I got to press into the 2 front, which are in that box right there. Yeah, we'll see if we can't get the box mounted up, and let's go from there. Let's just go from there. Stop talking about it. All right, here we go. All right. First up, like I said, get those bolts in there, because once you do get the porta box on, you are not going to be able to get those bolts in. And then if you do tighten them up where this end right here is recessed and the nut will go in, you'll end up with threads sticking out, which will run into the side of the box potentially. So I chose to put mine this way. Maybe right, maybe wrong, but by the picture on the instructions, that's the way it looks. But also, you will need 3 what I would call flanged head bolts, or has a washer, and then 1 regular hex head bolt that has a flat washer. The 1 regular hex bolt with a flat washer will go through the top of the portal box into this and hold this bracket in. So that being said, also, don't know why, but it is what it is. The bolt without the flanged head is a 19 millimeter. The bolt with the flanged head is a 16 millimeter. And then in order to put the brake caliper on to the portal box, one of the bolts you have to remove out of the box is a 18 millimeter. So gotta have a few different sockets while doing this. But for now, we'll pick up the old portal box here, make sure the back side of it's cleaned off, and we will start trying to put it on. I would suggest any bolt that will be simple, so probably the one that don't go through this bracket do first, to get the box to hold up on there, to hold the weight so you can get a nut started. So I'm choosing this top right bolt. I'm on the passenger side. I'll send the bolt through it, hold it, see if I can't get it up on there, onto the axle shaft. Alright, now I know the box ain't gonna fall off. I'll then take the one with the washer. It goes in the top left, through the box, through the back plate, or the knuckle, or whatever you want to call it, through the steering bracket, and then nut on the back side of it. Alright, so as I said previously, doing the rear, it says do not use impacts. But I am using one. Not because I'm a good mechanic or anything, because we all know that's far from it, but because it's easy to run the bolts up. You hear the ugga-duggas, but look at that. That bracket's still loose, so it means it ain't tight. That's because it's a nylon. To run it up, bracket's still loose. That means I didn't really impact the bolt on it. We will go ahead and get this other bottom bolt in. That bolt is in. Now, before you can put the last bolt in, that's where the brake bracket goes, and you got to remove this bolt. So the bracket will go just like yonder. So that's where you get the 18 millimeter. And we remove this bolt. Alright. Put it back on. We'll run it out. Run the slack out. Still not tight, right? See? Then we'll grab the other remaining bolt. Shove it through the box. Through the back plate. Give it a little wiggle. Make it go through the hole all the way. Alright, now that that one there's got a little click on it, we will take our 16 millimeter and our 18 millimeter wrench. We'll run the slack out of all of them. Oh. Do you hear what I hear? Should have charged the batteries last night. So we're gonna have to run it up with a wrench or a ratchet. Then we'll get in here, we'll tighten these two bolts up right here on the side. There is enough space still to get a wrench in here on the head of those, but I really would bolt through because I know there's gonna be threads out that. You don't want that to go into the box. I don't know if I was pointing at it when I was talking about it. But either way, this is the passenger side box up on here. I will repeat on the driver's side, just that right there. Then we'll start snugging some stuff up, torquing it down. I'm not doing the brake lines and calipers till last because I don't want to deal with brake fluid working in all the rest of this stuff. And so I'll end up getting the portal boxes on, getting the rotors on. All right, we have all the bolts are torqued and checked. Those are torqued. The only ones that ain't done are on the ball joints, and I'm not going to do those until I get the RZR sitting on its own weight. So that way, I don't know, that way it just, all the weight's on it. These bolts you can't torque doing that, so, but went ahead, pressed the studs in, and it does not say anything about using anti-seize on here. But when I look at this thing, I think what would be the hardest part about getting it apart? And if it's like your clutch, right? It is something that is, if you don't have the right pusher puller tool, it is hard to get off. So I thought, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and put some anti-seize on there and maybe help myself out. So forgot to tighten these up. Getting in a hurry. All right. And then, you know, the same old. This thing right here is getting torqued to hell. It's supposed to be 300. Use my little battery impact here to run it in. And like I said previously, my torque wrench goes to 250. I'll put it in there at 250. And that's the best I could do. Alright, but the way I got it braced up right here with a good pry bar, cross 2 wheel studs. Shouldn't go nowhere. If it does, you guys are gonna be the first ones to see it. Well, I'm gonna be the first one to see it. I'll probably face plant. But here goes 250. That's 250. All right. My next cotter pin hole. Man, I ain't very far at all. Ooh. Oh, get the cotter pin. I might have went a hair bit past. Gentle taps in there. And of course I put it in backwards too. Normally I like to put the longer side out to the front. It's easier to bend around. Some people will snip one of them off. I do not. But all right, so if I was not going to change my steering rack, that would be the point to where you'd start putting the ball joints in and adjusting your steering. But next up, I got to do my calipers. I got to take the scrapers off. Looks like I may have been beat to that already. But then we're going to take all these right here. These look like Torx heads. I know in the instructions it says drill them out. But we're going to take all these loose, get the brake line loose, chase it all the way over to the other side. See where they both go on at. Looks like over the sensor. And we're going to get the brake lines out and yep, we're going to swap the brake lines down into a bucket or something, maybe, before I swap calipers. Hell, I might swap the brake lines up there and then undo them out here on the banjo bolts and stuff and swap the caliper sides, because you got to do that. Then we'll start worrying about the caliper brackets and mounts. I'm gonna put oil in all 4 of them yet. So I got to make a store run to get some 80/90, because I think all I have in my oil selection for gear oil is 85 140. So we'll have to get some 80/90. That's what it calls for. And we'll put that in there. But yeah, now we'll do some caliper brackets and swap some calipers. How are you? Glad you came out to see me. And you too. I skipped a little bit. Sorry, please don't punish me. But it's on all 4 wheels. I didn't do the caliper mounts and all that stuff. I also didn't do the steering rack. That'd have been another video. But hey, here's what she looks like. Still got a mess to clean up. Look. We'll do a better walk around video later. But for now, that's what we get for SuperaATV's GDP 4-inch portals. 30% reduction. Say it again, the video is real good. It does not indicate time very well, because it is a time-consuming process. The paper instructions are pretty good. At the end, the 2 complaints I'll have with it. Number 1, to bolt the portal box on takes 3 different sockets, but that's okay. But that's due to different bolt heads, sizes. I don't know. Just pet peeve thing. And number 2, what it does not tell you, at least I had to do, in order to put the front caliper on, you have to put it on the rotor to mount it up. So in this portion right here, the caliper bracket's made to clear a hole right here, or better yet, where's the, oh man. Alright, this caliper bracket right here, that hole has a bolt head that goes to it. Well, that bracket's too thick to go between the rotor and that bolt head. On one, I tried to grind the bolt head down to make sure I could take it on and off, but I could not. So I still wound up taking the rotor back loose from the portal box, slide the brake pads and stuff over top the rotor, then slide it all together, bolt the caliper to the caliper mount, and then retort the nut for the rotor. So, not that it was overcomplicating, but it's a step that I thought, man, if all I want to do is brake pads, that ain't gonna be no fun. What do you think? Sorry, I have an audience today.
Hello.
Don't mind the mess. That's all we got for this one. I'll do the light bar. It's a light bar. Won't video that. I gave my mirrors away. Like I say, I'll do another video on the steering rack. So off to the store to get some 80-90 gear oil, and then we should be able to test drive. Be ready for Windrock. Alright. Like, subscribe, share. See you later. In relative time that it takes to actually do this, we will rate it in Mountain Dews. So today's Mountain Dew experience was three Mountain Dews. So I've been out here for a couple hours. It was in 3 Mountain Dews. That is not hours, that is Mountain Dews. That's probably 2 hours. So.
I'm working on the 4th.
Yeah, oh yeah, working on the 4th one. So in Mountain Dew time, altogether this is probably a 7 Mountain Dew job. Yeah, probably a 7 Mountain Dew job if you did start to finish. Yeah, Mountain Dew. Yep.